I kind of have like the like old person mentality of almost like you sacrifice a little more now, and the idea is that like that compounds into like much more in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever we go, if we're able to save more now and maybe not live like the most like lavish lifestyle,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately, well, just to start off today, we get week 2 of the Taylor Swift football era.
Oh, no. I'm over it. I'm over it.
She will be in attendance for the Sunday night game.
You know, I was intrigued just because it is interesting.
Yeah, well, just like,
But then it's not interesting. It gets not interesting. It's cool to know, and then it's like, all right, well,
yeah.
they're dating. They're not.
Celebrity couples never work out. Like, even like, I don't know if it was it was our second year of dating. We watched, like, was it The Bachelorette with,
Yes.
like,
Yes.
Pilot Pete? I
Oh,
only
yeah.
remember Pete because they were like, this guy's a pilot every single time. Like, that's
And
all.
they made all the dates and
Yeah,
everything,
they
like,
always had him
about him
flying
being
a
a pilot.
plane.
Yeah. I think we've only watched a few seasons of The Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Yeah, I think we went back to back for one.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just like during the school year.
Yeah,
It was
that was
like,
Hannah Brown's season, and it must have been Pete's season, I guess.
yeah,
But then there was one season that was not good at all, and I kind of...
we don't really watch those shows. It was just those. I think it was just because it was like on during the week.
Yeah,
Like
and we would
on
just
like
watch
the,
it. I mean, this was in college. We'd watch it on my laptop. It was
yeah. And that was
pretty
one of like the
informal.
days that like we saw each other during the week, and then it was just like,
Yes, and we could watch it because, I mean, neither of us had cable TV,
it
and
was
I'm
like
not even sure
Hulu.
if YouTube was a thing.
Yeah.
So we would just watch it on Hulu because I don't. I think I got that with the Spotify student discount
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, with the ads.
Yeah,
But
classic.
I mean, just how like back in the day, like before DVRs and stuff, where you could like record stuff, you just missed it, or
Yeah,
and then now like,
but I think they were such a system to it. Like if people would plan their day and be like, "Oh, my show is tonight," but now it's you could watch it whenever. So why panic about it?
yeah,
You're not gonna shape your schedule around a show now. It's more just you're gonna watch a show when you have free time.
yeah. Well, I still like to watch like sporting events live. So like last week, F1 was in Japan, and
So extra.
they had Saturday qualifying at like
See,
1 in the morning, and then
I
the race was at like midnight or 1.
I like to watch sports live if it's a vibe setter. Watching football during the day on a Saturday and Sunday during the fall, that's what that time is all about. But F1 a race, well, not
But
as
it's
interested.
no fun if you like wake up in the morning and just like look down at your phone to turn off your alarm, and then you have a notification like Max Verstappen wins. Like, you already know what's going to happen, so then what's the point of watching it?
I mean, wouldn't you say you already know Max Verstappen's most likely going to win?
Yeah, but not all the time. It's more fun if you don't.
How many of the races has he won this week?
Like
This year? Not this week.
80, 90%.
Interesting.
He's probably going to win the rest too. So
This week we also did our first F45 class. What were your thoughts on that?
Um, I haven't done like a lot of like hit exercises in a while, and I think like I don't think I'm in like terrible shape as far as like running, but as you get away from like doing like
Strength.
group activities, strength training, or just like that like high intensity full body, it was like a big like wake up call for me. Like, oh my gosh, like I haven't done this in a long time.
Did you like the group class setting? I mean, there was not very many people in that class, but I would prefer it. Me imagining a person at every single one of those stations. I don't, that just would not work for me.
Oh yeah,
That's too many. So I preferred there was only 4 of us in the class. But
yeah.
what were your thoughts?
Um, well, my thoughts were there was like we had 4 people there, and 2 of them
Mm-hmm.
showed up late. So I really liked the area that we had,
Yeah.
but like honestly, like if we just the area, I'd rather just be like us in there doing stuff and not having like a trainer or someone else because I was struggling through it, so I kind of just like wanted to be on my own or just with you. But
But do you think it was helpful having a trainer there? It kind of forced you not to take as many breaks?
I don't know about that.
You don't think so?
Um, yeah, he is nice. He was a nice dude, but just like overall, like if there was more people in that class, it would have been so crowded. There's stuff
Mm-hmm.
going on. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's great though that they only had like 4 people, and like we went on a class pass, so we didn't even have like a membership. So
Yeah. But it's hard because, I mean, we were talking afterwards. Those classes would be your gym membership for most people. I mean, because it's $150, $200 a month
yeah,
to
it's
go.
more than a gym. Like even like I mean I know some nice gyms are like super expensive, like 200 plus, and that's in like high cost living areas where you're basically like paying to not have like a
People.
crazy number.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I mean afterwards we were like yeah, well, I mean we could go to like Lifetime Fitness, and I think it's about the same or less, and we would have access to
A gym, different
yeah
classes,
a
which,
pool, like basketball courts,
yeah.
tennis, just
So
stuff like that.
that's why I wanted to do a trial run, a class pass, just because we're here for a few more months and just get some different activities, go to some classes, but not have that commitment to one type of class or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it allows for a lot more flexibility. Something else we've kind of been talking about as of lately when it comes to our overall life plan is deciding obviously what our next step is, what in moving, etc. And I think, to me at least, that it has caused me to think about my priorities in both the long term and also short term. What are the things in a day-to-day basis that matter to me significantly, but also looking 5 years from now, what are the decisions we have to make today to set us up for success in the future?
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations about that, and it's kind of heavily influencing kind of where we want to go and kind of what we need from the day.
Yeah.
I know like a big thing for us is walkability in where we live. And we've kind of shifted a mindset of like, oh, we need a house and a yard to like, we just want to be able to like go outside, walk to a park, or walk down to a store and get whatever we need, or go and sit and have a drink at.
And obviously right now the cost of living has gone up a ton in the past couple years, which makes it difficult for everybody. And I mean, looking at our monthly stuff, it's crazy how expensive being a quote unquote adult is. And understanding the impact of your decisions in your future and kind of weighing the cost of all the options. Like, okay, yeah, we could go live in a higher cost of living area, or we go to a little bit lower cost of living area and can save a lot of money.
Yeah. And, you're trading off a little bit, but with that lower cost of living area, you might be able to like be in a little nicer area of the town, or have like a little bit more access, or you can be a little bit more picky on where you're at. And I know I turned 26 this week, so
Health insurance.
booted off the parents' health insurance. Shout out to them for letting me stay on it. It's been nice, but also you get the double whammy of student loans kicking back. I guess federal
Yeah.
loans, because private loans have been going the whole time. But just kind of stepping into that, and you're just like, well, like, and we've tried to maintain our budget on that money's already gone kind of stuff. But just like, even like, we took a shorter term lease here because we knew we were going to be moving. So like that raised our rent like, I
Couple
don't know. Yeah.
$100.
But just like little stuff has just added up so much.
So when you think about our next few years and what decisions set us up for the best success, what's your vision? What's your thought process in making a decision?
I think I kind of have like the like old person mentality of almost like you sacrifice a little more now, and the idea is that like that compounds into like much more in the future. So wherever we go, if we're able to save more now and maybe not live like the most like lavish lifestyle, but ultimately for us, like, we both work from home. We just want to be in an area that we're happy with or have access to do stuff. So if we're in, I think the term's like a 15-minute city. That's like the more
Heck, I had
progressive
no idea.
term, where
Sure.
like you want to have to just to kind of give you like the I don't know, oh man, fancy word, like the dichotomy of it. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm trying to think of something, but one side of the U.S. is like, oh, 15-minute city, like the government's after us, they're gonna trap us, we're not gonna be allowed to leave, kind of stuff. But then like the other side of it is they want to have access to like entertainment, food, groceries, repair shops, everything like
Yeah.
within 15 minutes of you.
And I would say for us, the area to me matters a lot from a walkability. Is there a dog park? Is there a coffee shop we can go and have a quick little date at? But
And just space too, like parks. Like we'll
yeah,
just go and
which is why
walk around.
maybe closer to the inner city is not ideal for us, because we're not taking advantage necessarily of like the entertainment scene.
Yeah, like, I mean, like when people talk to me about Atlanta, they're like, oh yeah, like the strip clubs, bars, partying.
Yeah.
It's like, I couldn't even tell you where those are at.
Yeah, it's just not something that our lifestyle revolves around. And we have been talked about, okay, we could move to a smaller town, but there's that give and take of, okay, well, you're farther away from an airport, so our options to travel are a little bit less. The food scene's a little bit less, dog parks. And I personally like the city living because you're more anonymous when you go out. You don't have to
Yeah.
meet. You're not going to go to the store and have a conversation with someone because you're most likely not going to know anyone in the store. And I personally like that.
And there's just different stuff, like you go into a small town is very like independent kind of stuff. Like, everyone has like their house and yard kind of.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I would say it's much, I don't know about independent, but the word that comes to my mind is there's a lot more community because everyone knows everyone.
yeah, yeah. But in that community, it might be less so of like more organized stuff, where like public
Yes.
transportation's less.
Because they don't need it.
Yeah,
I mean,
everyone's got their cars, but I know with like COVID, there was a ton of people that were like, oh, I don't have to live in the city anymore. Like, let's go and spread out. And
yeah. And I think it's a good option for a lot of people. But I think that has been our thought process is we've moved a lot over the past couple of years. And what is that next step for us? And really looking into what makes the most sense for us in this season of life, and understanding what our priorities are right now and what they're going to be 10 years in the future, 5 years in the future, but really looking at what do we want our life to look like, and having that be the main influence in our decision, and not so much a spur of the moment kind of, this is where I want to be and it'll all work out, putting a little more thought behind it.
Yeah. And we've gotten more and more each time we've moved. Like, okay, like, what did we learn at this place? Now we got to do this one.
Which has been a lot of fun, I think, because it has made this decision a little more, I don't know if meaty is the right word, but where we actually do have conversations and truly want the best. We know that the area we live in does impact our life a lot. And we have learned different things. In Augusta, we learned about walkability and sidewalks. I would say now in Atlanta, we've learned more about being close to people that we love, like family, close friends, that sort of thing. And balancing the many different priorities, I would say. And also knowing that probably in a few years, we're eventually going to want a house. I would say something that you and I typically disagree with is like, you want a house and are willing to sacrifice the
definitely.
area, where I very much so, because
Prefer the area.
where I run, the gym that's nearby, the stores and shops, and a lot of those things matter a lot to me. So kind of that give and take. And that's something I think we are also considering with our next destination, is what area makes the most sense that kind of meets both of our quote unquote needs.
Yeah. And I know just something funny, like in our previous conversations, we were like, oh, we want to settle down.
Yeah.
We want to we want to find a place we're going to be in for like 5 years, and we have not found that spot yet.
Yeah, and I think that's been the struggle with this decision is, oh, we should just settle down, like find a place that we want to be in for a long term, instead of all the other factors, where I think within the past probably month or so, we've started thinking a little into the future of, okay, what's savings cost wise makes the most sense? Where do we want to be 5 years from now? And what decision on our next move sets us up for wherever we want to be in the future? Because, I mean, with Atlanta, we had planned, we've been so indecisive on, do we buy a house here? But what if we don't want to be here? What if we want to be closer to family? All these decisions where it kind of gets overwhelming because there's just so many places. And I think I personally love the idea of so many different cities and places to live. But ultimately, from a day-to-day perspective,
you just really need like
similar.
Your simple stuff kind of met.
Like, yeah.
And you know, most cities offer that. Obviously, like a big thing is like the weather. But
yeah.
I just a big thing for us in like this last month is if you have your mindset set to, we're looking at the next year, not like this has to be a 5-year decision. And when you look at it for like a year perspective, like really opens up options or flexibility.
You don't have to be in a long-term commitment with a place.
Yeah. And it's much easier to like make a decision instead of just like being scared that you're going to make the wrong decision.
Yeah, because we don't have to be there for forever. If we want to save money for a year by living in a lower cost of living area, it doesn't mean we are completely eliminating any potential move in the future.
Yeah.
And I think that has been what's caused a lot of drama for ourselves in deciding where we want to live and making it a more stressful decision than it needs to be, is the thought that, oh, we need to settle down. We need to pick the place and be there for at least 5 years. And that just makes the decision way more stressful than I think it needs to be, because
Yeah.
you're putting way too much weight on the future.
Yeah. I know we're not alone in just kind of like this like thought process of like, hey, maybe we go somewhere a little less populated. Just because like California, I think is seeing like a population decrease in some of their bigger cities. Just like San Francisco has become like almost like the term unlivable is what I'm gonna go with here, but like that's not really
Just
true.
such
Just
an
yeah,
extreme
so
cost
expensive that
few
people are
can
just like,
afford
well,
it.
I mean, shoot, like I could go live in
Literally anywhere else.
Des Moines or
Yeah.
so that's really interesting to see like how much of a shit, and with like internet, remote work, shipping, everything, like these cities in the middle of the country that you know population hasn't been where it's at, because Dallas, like Austin, Houston has been that's like the big
Booming.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like a lot of people are moving in there. It's like what the new California is what they call it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it too, and something we've talked about, is we can live in a lower cost of living area, and with that extra money, if we want to travel more, we have that option where if we're maxing out our monthly income
To be
to just to
house
be
slash
in
apartment poor and just
yeah, just to be in an area where on a general level our day to day is not changing. We're still going to get up, we're going to work, we're going to walk the dogs. But having more money saved and etc. really opens up the possibilities for the future.
yeah.
Whether it's buying a house, taking more trips, doing even more weekend trips. I mean, when you get to save $1,000 a month just on rent, it really
Very easy selling point.
yeah.
Right there. I wherever we go, I'm pretty excited just for new. And I think both of us. I always grew up, and my mom always joked about this, but we'd move every 2 years, and they would get antsy and want to move.
Yeah.
Even after my dad got out of the military, like they would still want to move. And I think they've battled with that for the last couple of years. Just because I've always heard their conversations of like, oh, we could go here, gonna go here. Now, ultimately, they've stayed for a while. I mean, they've set up, but we might just be like nomadic people.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully someday I would like to be in a place for, more than a few years would be nice. But I also, I don't know, I do like new places, and I don't know, just it's kind of fun.
We get excited with new.
Yes.
Just
The new shiny thing.
yeah.
Which is what I'm trying to work on. It's that contentment and not thinking everything is the new shiny thing. But, it is what it is. We'll just take it day by day, as they say.
Day by day.
Yeah.
Maybe month by month.
Yeah. Or year by year.
Okay.
Let's lengthen up that time frame. Today we are moving to that'd be extreme. That's when you get your little mobile van or whatever.
Oh gosh, do we want to get into van life? Because that just sounds miserable to me.
I don't think we would. I don't think we would thrive in that environment. I think we both like our space too much.
Now,
and with the dogs.
Just to recap, we've tried the book, like the cute Airbnbs or whatever. We stayed in this. It was a neat place because it got us into Atlanta. Just as a quick trip, like really cheap.
Yeah.
But I can't think of the name.
Airstream?
Yeah, we stayed in a converted Airstream. And we booked it for 2 nights. We left after 1.
We were 2 hours away, and our thought was, I mean, we could stay the night here, or we can just drive back and sleep in our actual comfy bed instead of this bed.
struggling because I don't think you slept very well.
No.
And
It was warmish, and just we knew we were going to get up early in the morning and drive back, so when presented with the opportunity to skip out on the night stay in the Airstream, I think we both were sold.
yeah, easy choice. Although Airstream was nice, it's a little crowded. We had both of our dogs with us because we didn't want to board them. And then option 2 was we stayed in a tiny home, and that was just a quick getaway.
It was really
Stuff.
cute.
Yeah.
The restroom situation,
Oh yeah, that was.
I was very thankful I never had to use the restroom there.
Yeah.
So we timed our events well to where our time in the tiny home for a continuous amount of time was short enough that we'd be out into a flushing toilet at regular intervals.
Yeah, and it just got narrow, like we going back and forth in there, but it still was a nice vacation. Just I know like my favorite Airbnb that we've had was the Myrtle Beach, like in the off season. Like,
oh yeah,
like,
that was
it was
so
way
nice.
too cold for, I don't even know what month it was,
No,
but you were running
February, right? January?
Yeah, you were running a
I
half
think it was
marathon.
January. Yeah, it was supposed to.
It was canceled due to like heavy rain, but we still went up there because we had the place, and it was really nice. We tried to have some
It snowed. There was like a little bit of snow, which was kind of cool.
and then so we did go out to the beach, but it was freezing, and I just had like a hoodie and
I was in a parka.
yeah, it
Full
was.
send the parka.
But
It was my favorite Airbnb. We had a yard for the dogs. It was not the nicest place to where you feel
like what? There wasn't that many.
conscious.
It was like the off season, so like the restaurants weren't open. So what do we made pancakes and
We made spring rolls. We got those
Oh,
rice.
yeah. And we got some breakfast stuff.
We
I
did
think,
go out
for
to
the
eat
morning.
once. You were gonna order crab legs, right?
Yeah, I was.
But
and they
then
were out.
They were
so,
out.
no,
So you didn't get
I
crab
was
legs.
disappointed.
But I don't remember what I got there, but I really enjoyed it. And it was nice because there wasn't a ton to do, so we just vibed out.
Well,
Went
we
to
were
go
in a
eat.
Marvel movie kick there, so I think we watched. Like,
Oh, we watched
Iron
that
Man.
Hawkeye show, right?
Yeah, that may have been it too.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was
And then we made a dessert. But I mean, it's hard because, I do like to do the traveling where you're out and you're doing the most, like our Europe trip in a few months, where we're probably not going to be spending a ton of time in our hotel room, but those long weekend trips where you can just go and
relax, not worry about cleaning,
and do nothing, and
those are fun.
yeah.
But most importantly from that, I think we've learned maybe if we're going to Airbnb, we skip over the tiny home situations.
Oh my gosh, yeah. We end up just not staying there for the time we were supposed to.
Yeah.
We've stayed one night. We've booked 2 nights and stayed one night in all of our tiny home situations.
We've learned.
We
from
tried.
that.
Hopefully we've learned.
Yeah, even just the split, like the hosts are in one side, you're in the other side.
Nope.
It's so noisy that
Yeah.
just
That one
you
we stayed
never
in
feel,
Charleston
yeah.
where
Were they
my
fighting on the other side of the wall?
I thought they were having a part. I don't know. There was a lot going on, and it aggravated our dogs, and it was just wow.
Yeah, so we
So
probably
much
won't do that
noise.
again. But
I don't know. We probably slept on and off total 4 hours, 5 hours that night. Oh,
yeah,
it's
we
terrible.
got out of there pretty quick.
Not a good time.
But overall, I think we're just really excited for the next step, whatever we're gonna do, and
Tax season's almost over. That's what we really care about.
yeah, we're hitting like prime time.
Thank you all for tuning in today. I hope you enjoyed today's little episode, and we will catch you all next week.